They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous.
Okay, but y'all don't want this to be called racism. Y'all don't want this to be called racism. I have a question. Let's examine the words that were said. Let's examine the words that were said, right? He said that it's poisoning the blood of our country. Now, how should I interpret that? I just want to know, how should I make that not sound like it has something to do with race? So, poisoning the blood of our country. Immediately for me, that makes me think of genetics, bloodlines. Poisoning the blood of our country. And to add on, and to make it worse, he starts to list regions in the world. He lists Africa, he lists Asia, and he said not typically of what you think of. We know that he's talking about South Latin America, right? Did he mention Europe? No, he did not. No, he did not. So I don't know what Republicans, like conservatives, what do you want me to think that he meant by that? What do you think he meant by that? And if you can honestly say to yourself that that statement had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with race, I can't take that serious. I cannot take that serious. Poisoning the blood of our country. Oh, why are you making everything about race? Why is he making this about race? I'm about to see, because it's like common sense is not common. And I'm assuming that some conservatives like this kind of talk. You can say that you don't believe in illegal immigration, and you can come down hard on illegal immigration. You could say people should not be crossing our border illegally. Even if you said something wild like we should arrest everybody immediately when they cross the border, that doesn't explicitly have anything to do with race. You can say you don't like legal immigration and you want to severely restrict how many immigrants come into the country. But to say they're poisoning the blood of our country. Well, he's talking about all Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans. Well, why then, when he starts to list who's poisoning the blood of the country, he already got Latin America, because he said not typically the countries you think of. Africa and Asia. He can't. What are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me that he just wasn't thinking about Europe. He just wasn't really thinking about Europe. I'm telling you right now, I don't believe that. And I don't think that you believe that. I don't think you believe it. I don't think you believe it. And if you say, well, it's not so much of what he says, it's the actions that he does that really matter. I'm about to, and I don't want to sound like corny, when I say this, but it absolutely does matter if you live in a country where people don't care if the head, the leader, the representative of the country just says racist or incredibly crazy things just whenever. Because this is supposed to be the person that represents you to the world. In their actions and their rhetoric. This is the person that represents you to the world. So I'm not buying, and nobody's going to sell me on the idea that he forgot to mention Europe, that wasn't having anything to do with race, or it doesn't really matter. No, you know that it has something to do with race. You know that. You know that. And I don't even have to sit up here and pretend like entertaining the idea that it did not is worth time, because you know that. So Ben Shapiro decides to comment about this. He decides to speak about this issue. And let's listen to what he has to say, because this is the person who is ready in the forefront, right? If a college kid is on campus peacefully protesting with no power whatsoever about Palestine, this is the person who is ready to call somebody's intentions out. This is the person who's ready to say who hates who. Okay, let's quickly.
By the way, as I say, most normal people look at Trump, and when he says wild and crazy things, they think to themselves, that's just because he's brash and a loudmouth. It's not because he's wrong. That's particularly true when it comes to his rhetoric around immigration.
Okay, I don't know if he misspoke or did not, if we played the clip, let's play it again.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous. Mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous.
If we played the clip of what Trump just said, if Ben Shapiro would be saying, this is true. It's poisoning the blood of our country. This is the person who judges people's intentions, right? This is the person who we're supposed to take serious, that judges people's intentions. Normal people think that, oh, he's just brash and he's just a loudmouth. I've met loudmouths before. I've met brash people before. Brash is saying the immigration policy is stupid. Brash is saying nobody in Congress is trying to do anything about immigration. Is it brash to say that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation? Let me see. Because this is just crazy. This is just crazy. Brash means self-assertive in a rude, noisy, or overbearing way. Rude is to say, I don't support immigration. That is rude. To say it's poisoning the blood of our nation, that's a lot of things. outside of rude. I mean, it's just insane. It's just insane. Here he goes.
So you saw Jen Psaki just a moment ago suggesting that because people support Trump more, 42% of Republicans say they support Trump more after his poisoning the blood of our system, illegal immigration.
That's not what he said. Now, the fact that you even have to try to tone it down a little bit for it to taste good coming out your mouth lets me know right there. Because that's not what he said. Let's play what he said again.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's
Of our country. Of our country. Now watch what this clown said.
Percent of Republicans say they support Trump more after his poisoning the blood of our system, illegal immigration.
Now I know you lying. I know you lying. And you know what's funny? It's going to be people that see what he did that still eat it up. That still don't care. Nothing you could tell them. No common sense. It's crazy. And then the funny thing to me is how they try to sneak in that little legal immigration. We just care about legal immigration. It's always a little word that they try to use to replace what they actually mean. Donald Trump and a lot of the Republican base especially, they don't want immigrants in here, period. Period. Like, full stop. Slow down immigration. What? Like, come on now. We know that. I'm not even about to play this semantic game. You want less immigration, and now, which I've been known, it's because you want the country to be majority white. That's what you want to go until the end of time. Let's hear the rest of what he has to say.
That is evidence that they support fascism. The reason that many people are supporting Trump because of his immigration rhetoric is because they believe that he is saying things that even Democrats are saying, but he's being penalized when Democrats are not. So,
when Democrats are saying that immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation, what Democrats, did I miss that? What Democrats, even the example he gives after this is not an example of a Democrat saying that. What Democrat is saying that? So his whole entire spiel after, nothing to do with what Trump said. Now, like I said, let it have been somebody who was with the Palestinian flag marching saying something like this. Let it have been that. And what do you think he would have said? Are y'all serious right now? Are y'all serious right now? This must be a joke. This must be a joke.